Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Yahushua,
Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
That want us to the apostles, that want us to the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, that is teaching the truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. We have a beautiful lesson for you, Akim, today. Esau knows that he's about to be taken out of power. This article is from Blacklisted News. It's brought forth from Paul Craig Roberts.
You want me to read?
Where's, huh?
You want me to read?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This is from Paul Craig Roberts. Western supremacy is on its way out. June 1st, 2019. On May 28th, I wrote that the Western world is collapsing so rapidly that I am afraid that I am going to outlive it. My article was about the rising demonization of white people that is producing a collapse in their confidence. Inculcated guilt is making whites willing to accept discrimination against them in order to elevate Arab, African, and Hispanic migrants that greedy corporations and witless political leaders have brought into the country.
What? See? They're going to show you the hypocrisy of these devils, man. Because really, America was built upon the premise, it was founded upon, but really built upon the premise of being a melting pot. With the influx of the migrants throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. That was the time in which America was really built up. But now, since Esau feels his kingdom falling, he must say, well, that needs to stop. Mm-hmm. That's really, Esau don't understand the spirit of things. That's really, with him mingling his perverseness and gathering an abundance of the nations, that's what helps his kingdom elevate so quickly.
That's right. All right, continue on. It says, the identity politics of the Democratic Party works to the advantage of darker-skinned migrants who present themselves as the victims of the white-faced victimizer, just as Jews, the so-called Jew, discovered the advantage of infecting Gentiles with guilt, so have the Arabs, Africans, and Hispanics. Psychological and emotional collapse is not the only form of collapse underway in the United States and Western world generally. There is also economic and social collapse, especially in the United States. Today's America's once great manufacturing and industrial cities such as Detroit, St. Louis, Cleveland, Flint, Michigan, Gary, Indiana have lost 20% of their populations largely due to offshoring of the United States manufacturing. Social collapse is evident in rising homelessness, and we were just talking about this at camp. Especially this article goes to mention Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle, but this is going on across the whole country, man. Any major city is a large amount of homeless people. Especially here in Atlanta, man. Like where these famous streets like Peachtree, Spring Street. There's a slew of homeless people, man. This is a continual problem in the United States.
Shit, even on the highways,
Mm-hmm.
you have more and more people literally living under bridges out here, man.
Right.
People living under bridges, and then you see like their clothing or their trash is coming down the sides of the concrete structure supporting the bridge. Because hey, man, America's crumbling, man.
It says Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle have large homeless populations that encamp on city streets, parks, and upscale neighborhoods such as Venice Beach. In Los Angeles, feces and garbage in public streets have caused a plague of rats and fleas. Dangerous sanitation conditions have caused medical authorities to predict a major infectious disease epidemic this summer. The flea-infested carpets in City Hall are being ripped out because of fear of a typhus outbreak brought on by rat infestation.
You got a flea-infested carpet in City Hall. So if you got these, these pests, for lack of a better word, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, is bringing these pests that will carry these diseases to City Hall. where that's supposed to be one of the most, cleanest, most pristine areas in the city. How much more just out in the rest of the city, man? You know?
Yeah.
All right, continuing on, it says, costs are mounting on already struggling taxpayers. For example, in Los Angeles in 2016, voters approved a $1.2 billion measure to finance 10,000 units of housing for the homeless. The initial cost 3 years ago was $140,000 per housing unit. Now it's $500,000 per unit. As one news report put it, spending $500,000 to build one basic rental unit to get one homeless family out of the rain doesn't come across as a viable idea.
And how is that, man? How is it that one dwelling for a homeless person costs $500,000? It's because these politicians are in league with the local business people, in which they're running up and jacking up these contract prices, and they're getting kickbacks.
Yeah.
It's obvious. How you mean to tell me it takes $500,000 to build one roof to cover someone's head?
Right.
When really, it really, especially for for homeless people. Listen, man, they homeless. Yahweh Shah spoke about that the poor will always be amongst us. However, you should really, a wise king or a wise ruler would really develop the low cost measures to just keep them safe and put them in a better state, just living on the street.
Well, that's what they use to get people to go vote for him, man. I bet there's somebody running for office right now, and they're probably talking about, we're gonna fix the homeless problem, we're gonna fix the rats. That just goes into political propaganda, man. Just trying to get people to go vote. And people in America have people haven't figured out in America that this westernized way of voting people in the office isn't working, man.
Right.
From a president all the way down to a city council member, voting doesn't work, man. As you can see, your cities are rat infested, flea infested, homelessness. All right. So this westernized world, as far as going to the ballots and voting, because that's where they get Jake, man. Like, I went to the store, not to be too long-winded.
Yeah, bro.
They still trying to get Jake to vote.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you go to the local grocery store. Are you registered to vote? Voting is not working for you American people, man.
Right.
So
Neither has worked.
yeah,
Because the elite, they choose who's going to run this country, not you people. You're just a bit scam.
that's right.
I got some. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 8. That's talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white race. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. All right, because this is just it's a scheme, man, in which these politicians are constantly just taking tax money from the American people. All right, and they're hoarding it to themselves, and they're using it for them and their cronies, or those that are in confederacy with them, and they're robbing everybody. They're robbing everyone in plain sight.
Right.
And then instead of giving actual help and aid, they're overspending. All right, they're running up the prices. All right, and they're not actually serving the people.
No, they ain't.
There's continuously spoiling and taking and taking and taking. Meanwhile, they're getting them something, and that's why the divide between the extremes of the rich and poor is continuing to grow, because these politicians and elite are just sucking the blood, all right, so to speak, the financial and just the resourceful blood out of the people, man, to where you're either going to be rich because you're working damn near for the side of evil, more likely than not, or you're going to be super poor, or going to be a perpetual slave.
Yeah, because we're the fuel of this country.
Mm-hmm.
The working poor, the poor, and the so-called middle class, which are the poor right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like every second, like the brother said, every second, wide gap, the rich and the poor. And Paul Craig Roberts is an economist, so his job is to investigate in detail about these situations. So his theory, his idea, his conclusion to the whole matter of this whole messed up society is that it's going to collapse.
And if I can say, that's according to biblical prophecy. Not to say that he's using the Bible as a source, but that determination he came to is prophecy. I'm gonna read this again. This is Habakkuk 2:8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So that's what's getting ready to happen.
That's real.
All right. These everyone who's here in America, all right, of all nations, are gonna be like, they're gonna want a piece of Whitey's ass, man. All right, they're gonna want to put their foot, they're gonna want to put their leg knee deep in a cracker's ass, man. Because
that's what China doing.
mm-hmm.
That's why Dollar Tree. That's why a lot of these stores that used to be inexpensive, they're going up on the jacking up the prices.
Right.
And why jacking up the prices? Because you got an Edomite in office who is actively stirring up a trade war. All right, in which we've been telling y'all people over and over again that with these tariffs, it's not China and whoever the tariff countries aren't going to pay the tariffs. All right. These businesses are either going to ship those goods to someone who isn't taxing or tariffing their goods, or they're going to come here and it's going to get tariffed, and the consumers will pay for it. The American people will pay for it, which will do what? Cause inflation. Inflation does what? Drives the prices up. All right, and the people are who are already like the captain said, working poor, living paycheck to paycheck, can't save any money. All right, are barely making ends meet. Meanwhile, you got these major corporations who are making records of amount of money, all right, getting cheap money from the Federal Reserve Bank, all right, and not paying their workers any more than they got to. So what's going to happen? The remnant of the people are going to rise up and want a piece of Esau's ass, man.
Matter of fact, since you mentioned that, let me get this right quick. It's on 2nd Ezra 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15. I think it's verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be, well, I'm going to start at 15. For the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. So your boy Donald Trump is not making America great again. He's going to drive America into all types of wars out here. But it's biblical, race wars, class wars, all right, gender wars, because these women are getting hyped up, man. All right,
Yeah.
They're always making these movies about women heroes. All right, women taking over the streets. All right, women doing this, women doing that. All right, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and of course their actions shall stand in their power. So there's going to be sedition, and sedition is the crime or saying or writing of doing something that encourages people to disobey their government. All right, so when inflation goes up, and you people start to realize that Trump is not going to make America great again, you Democrats can't do a damn thing because you Democrats are worse than fucking Republicans. All right, that's just real talk, man. All right.
So they both sides are pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's like picking the lesser of two evils, but at the end of the day, they both sides are evil.
Yeah, it's basically like they always get on these Crips and Bloods. These guys are the corporate Crips and Bloods, man. So when these prices go up, all right, from all these tariffs that you've been jacking on these other countries, and these countries don't want to deal with you, and then they finally diss that dollar. There's gonna be sedition out here. What you see in Venezuela, all right, what you see in what you see happening, was another country that sedition is happening.
France.
France. There's another one off the top of my head too, man. The Ukraine. All right, these are the little small countries that you think is insignificant. All that is building up momentum to come here to America, man.
Yeah. And blessed are those whose eyes can see this thing, man. You got something, bro?
Nah, you finished on the article?
No, I got some more on it. All right, continuing on, it says, It says homeless alleviation. Wow. All right. Among the solutions being investigated in refuge camps and a rethinking of the policy of taking in millions of peoples from impoverished and unstable countries. We are
That's bullshit, man.
Right, yeah.
All right. Those people who come here to work, you know, to better their lives, they come here and they work their fucking asses off, man. All right. It be you local Joe Blow, Budweiser drinking crackers, man, who's fucking this country up because y'all lazy as fuck.
Yeah.
Y'all just don't want to actually compete against people who are superior than you, because everyone's superior to the so-called white man, the Edomite.
That's right.
And then all them years of conquering other nations and having, kidnapping people, taking people land, you still ain't come up on the lick. Like now you in a hole. Like damn, what's wrong with y'all government? Y'all government is backwards.
That's because the elites of your nation have taken advantage of you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
They left you out the picture.
Yeah, man. Hey.
The bigger picture.
Y'all want in the circle, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like Yahweh Shai, he's Lord willing, putting us in the circle, all right, to do his work, to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, or to just be of the 1/3 who are able to partake in the beginning of the kingdom of heaven, putting us in the circle. All right, your elites left y'all punk asses out the circle, man. All right, so deal with it.
That's right. It says, continuing on, it says, we are impoverishing ourselves without making a dent in world poverty. For every person the United States takes in, tens of thousands remain. Already areas of the United States look and function like India of 100 years ago. Homeless.
But that's y'all fucking fault, man.
Yeah.
All right, you can't blame on immigrants for that. All right, you got a bullet train in China. I believe they just installed go like over 300 miles an hour, like 360 or 70 miles an hour, a train. Well, meanwhile the Amtrak go like 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, the MARTA train, you waiting an hour just to go to work. You got derail episodes happening over here in America. It's cities always congested with
Right.
traffic. So it's hell, man.
They go Esau trying to blame everybody else, but take the credit, man.
Yeah.
Like a fucking.
Right, because he putting all his money, he ain't putting the money back into society. He's putting the money into war.
Yeah.
I got something right quick.
Okay.
This is Jeremiah 51, 8 and 9. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. And this also goes into not only the coming destruction of America, but the current state of it right now, because the infrastructure is broken. These roads are fucked up. All right, potholes everywhere, trash everywhere. All right, so you're blaming these immigrants who are basically driving. You're basically talking to the so-called Hispanics when you're talking about immigrants, because they're basically holding up this country for you. All right, and you just don't want to admit it because they're the children of Israel. All right, so continuing on, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. So eventually these other countries aren't going to have anything to do with the United States, and this great whore is just going to be sitting there by herself, man. All right, and you know what you do. You know what you do to a whore, man. You hit it and quit it, and you get rid of it, man.
Yeah.
Same thing going on with the United States, man. The United States is that trifling whore that's sitting by herself in the corner. All right.
Yeah, she all old and wrinkled.
Yeah.
Her titties sagging to her belly button. You know, her box is weathered. She's stinking. Her hair is finished. But you still got some of our people who still trying to get down with her, man.
Right.
I got some.
Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 17. I said in my heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked. For there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. All right. So the Most High is bringing judgment upon you, devils, man. All right. And you've just sown time and time again, over and over and over, over and over and over for generations, for decades, for centuries. Wickedness, man. All right. Treachery, deceit, robbery. Over and over again, man. Okay. And just because Yahweh Shem Shai is a long-suffering power, all right, and very patient, you devils thinking that y'all are doing something out here, man. But all the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, is allowing y'all to do is to move closer and closer to your own utter destruction, man. Meanwhile, the righteous of our nation are trying our best to get right, all right, within ourselves, with for Yahweh Shem Shai, within the body, all right, and there's going to be a judgment for that as well, man.
Yeah, here it is. People out here doing folly and madness on a daily basis, especially down here in Atlanta. It's a party city. Always a party vibe down here, and these things are happening. While the collapse of the city is happening. Matter of fact, this is just a rerun of what Rome, with the bread and circus events. Rome was steadily shutting down, but the government of Rome was steadily like, nah, get the people entertainment, get them entertainment, and throw them off. And that's what happened. That's what's happening right now. I got a scripture today. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightening with his glory. Verse 2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and it's become the habitations of devils. Now that's what's happening right now. And then the habitation of devils is going to come after the nuclear destruction on this place.
That's right.
Because you got the Tasmanian devils and whatnot. Different animals, desert animals is going to be dwelling in this place after America gets annihilated by the missiles.
Yeah, man.
So Babylon the Great is falling. That's what's saying in this article.
Yep.
The Western supremacy is falling.
Yeah, man. And y'all crackers, man. It's on y'all, man. All right. Y'all had the ball in your hand. All right. It was game time. All right. And you shot an air ball, man.
I got the word for supremacy.
Okay.
It says the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status.
And that's witchcraft.
Right. Who is ruling in the Western hemisphere of the world?
Right.
Whose dollar? Whose face is on the world currency?
They should short sound like the Arab for you niggas that talk about Esau as the Arab.
Right. Or Esau is Japhet.
Yeah, it ain't no so-called Samoan on no damn dollar bill. I'm sorry, bro.
Nah, man, not on this side.
Yeah,
Right.
not on this
You
side.
see how Esau tried to manipulate the people by throwing Harriet Tubman and some damn so-called Native American woman on the gold dollar. It's not gonna work, Esau.
Ain't gonna work.
You are the wicked. The eagle, the proud bird, is your symbol that the Lord wrote about in Deuteronomy chapter 28.
And that's the spirit.
Serve at the eagle fire, Lord.
That's the spirit because that Harriet Tubman got pushed back to 2028. We know we ain't gonna be here no 2028, but that goes to show you that the spirit of the Lord is in everything, man. He like, no, I'm gonna show you who these devils are through this money system, man.
My man Trump said that black bitch ain't going on my dollar bill.
Right.
And you know what's funny too is they were trying to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, in which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe on the $20 bill is Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
And he was known as what? The Indian killer.
KKK.
And on top of that, there was a president in which Donald Trump actually he holds him in high reverence and admires him particularly very much on a high level. Yeah. But Trump was like, man, that black bitch is not going on this dollar bill, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue on.
But meanwhile, Esau ain't the devil, man.
Right.
All right. Now we're gonna get to. It says rising violence as another indicator of social collapse. Over Memorial Day weekend, 42 people were shot in Chicago.
God damn.
The violent MS-13 gang, formed originally by Salvadorian and Honduran migrants, has expanded its operation from California to Long Beach and is now invading the Hamptons. Now,
No, it says to Long Island.
now it says to Long Island and is now invading the Hamptons. Now, Who's funding MS-13 so they can expand from California to Long Island to the Hamptons, man? Okay, it's the so-called white man. He gives them the guns, the drugs, and the expansion route, man.
Information.
Okay, the information. All right. Every time you hear Trump talk about MS-13, these devils are funding them, man. Just how they funded Rick Ross in the '80s, how they funded how the CIA infiltrated the Crips and the Bloods. All right, that's the so-called white man behind the scenes giving these so-called gangs money, man. You even see it in the articles. Like you had this gangster rapper from the '90s called BG Knockout, and he mentioned it, man. All these rappers are from back in the day are exposing you devils because you the ones that put the guns and drugs into the neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
It says residents are installing bulletproof windows, steel doors, and safe rooms inside their homes for protection. And I got a scripture on that. This is Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So we don't feel sorry for you devils, all right, that's living in these nice, well-to-do areas like Long Island and the Hamptons, that's getting banged on by MS-13 and Zopound and all these other gangs, because it is a larger manifestation of Crips and Bloods on the East Coast now. Well, we just mentioned Andrew Jackson. How did you crackers get this country? By slaughtering Native American and Seminole Indians.
Yes.
All right.
Stealing the land.
The murder rate, as far as you devils, even amongst your own people, because the apostles mentioned millions died in World War I and World War II. All right, you killed the Native American and Seminole Indians. You killed. It was projected that 100 million so-called Negroes died on the way here over to the Americas to serve slavery.
But it was more than that.
Yeah, it was more than that. But you getting mad over some little MS-13, man, when you're originally the harbinger of death. So the Most High said you reap what you sow, man. Yeah. Like Malcolm X used to say, you devils are the chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah, he said the scriptures said he didn't get tired of seeking blood, so blood should pursue him. So
because he didn't hate blood.
Yeah, he didn't hate blood. Yeah, he don't hate. He do not. He loves seeing blood. So blood is the Lord is causing that to be on his head right now.
All right, it's continuing on. It says another sign of social collapse is growing water problems. The Flint, Michigan problem is well known, but there are many other with less publicity. Henry Ford Hospital and Detroit Health Department reported a drastic increase in levels of waterborne diseases.
And that's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the scripture's coming out, man. 2 Ezra chapter 16 goes into how pestilence is going to be in the earth. Man, if I'm going to get that, I'm going to let you get back. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse verse 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulations and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. But for all these things they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So even though these things happening, the Lord said it was going to happen, and it's happening right now, but people ain't turning to the Lord. And mainly in Detroit, Jake is being destroyed from drinking that water.
Right.
You got these things going to happen.
You got other cities, and too, I think another city is Newark, New Jersey. That's one of those regions where a lot of Jake is at, New Jersey. Even down here in the South, there was a city in Louisiana. I think it was Baton Rouge, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them, like Lake Charles, one of them cities, man, where I saw a video. Basically, they were turning on the bath water, and it was just like it was the color of a brick. It was just dark brown, man.
That's how it is in Grady. When I went up to Grady, you go up to certain floors, turn on the water come out brown.
Because these pipes are old. They're not properly treating the water. A couple of days ago, I saw a documentary where one of these water bottle a major water bottle, I believe it was Nestle. They were tapping a spring. It was either in Illinois or Indiana, and they were taking so much water that it was throwing off the ecosystem. The water levels were dropping so drastically that it wasn't even about the water because they taking that water and shipping it around the world, really. But because Esau was taking so much water out of that spring, it was drying up all the water in the area and completely devastating the ecosystem. You know, but once again, like the brother's going, and that's gonna do what? That's the places in which those natural resources, you know, thrive or in abundance. There's gonna be more opportunity for plagues to hit that place now, because Esau isn't capable of properly taking care of his infrastructure that he has in the major areas that the brother's going into. You know, these major cities, you come on the water, it's brown, it's polluted, it has, you know, all this these high levels of metals in them.
Right.
Because he can't properly maintain those, he has to go to where the resources are, where he hasn't polluted the resources, bring them to the areas in which he can't maintain the resources, and he's just hurting both sides. He's the harbinger of death.
Yeah, the base man of the earth, just trying to rule, trying to rule the earth.
I'll continue on.
Yeah.
All right. It says what we are experiencing is the failure of government at all levels. Huge sums are being spent on wars and the fomenting of wars, while Los Angeles faces the prediction of a typhus epidemic. For 2 decades, the United States has spent trillions of dollars on wars in the Middle East in behalf of Israel. Washington calls it the War on Terror, which is a cover story that hides the real agenda and motivation of violence that has killed, maimed, orphaned, and displaced millions of Muslims. One consequence.
That's that. Remember that book with Edified? They wrote about the 3 wars, and the last war is going to be between America and Muslims. It's happening right now, the Third World War.
One consequence of these senseless wars has been to radicalize Muslims against Americans and Europeans, even as the United States and Europe import millions of displaced Muslims into their country. And that's, you know, we don't give a damn about Muslims, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, you know, like Albert Pike did say, this Third World War is going to be, again, you know, basically the Zionists against the Muslim nation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you see that happening in these other countries, like, you know, that's part of that yellow vest protest, man. These crackers are protesting because these Muslims are coming in and so-called refugees are so-called tearing up. The same thing that's going on with you crackers over here, you crackers in France. You're blaming the Muslims. You're blaming them on terrorism. You're blaming them on them for displacing and terrorizing your country.
Yeah, but meanwhile, they going over there terrorizing them.
Yeah.
That's why they gotta come to these countries. Because you invading over there, taking the resources.
Yeah.
Or putting sanctions on the government, where the government had to treat the people like shit worse than what they already treat them like.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, the same thing that you see going on with these countries in the United States is happening in France. France is not that picturesque Champs-Élysées as they picture. London is not what it used to be. All right, any other city in France, they're facing homelessness. They're facing high crime rates, unemployment. The same thing is happening because Esau as a whole is falling. Doesn't matter if it's the United States, the EU is falling. All right, the same thing that's going on in the United States, Europe is facing that right now. Man.
And if I can say, brother, and that's why we tell you crackers, man, live it up. Y'all think we, you know, are being facetious. Now we're saying your best bet is to get as much enjoyment as you possibly can in as quick as possible. Because you don't see your kingdom is falling. All right? Your kingdom will fall. The sedition of men will occur.
Yep, in your lifetime.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really deal with these issues, man. So your best bet is to, you know, have a little fun, man.
All right.
Yeah, it's like, because we went to a brother's house yesterday, and it's mainly crackers over there. And I ain't gonna lie, man, you crackers, y'all are in some rundown places, man. It's certain places that, you know, you got the Krogers, you got the Publix, you got certain plazas. But as a whole, y'all whole infrastructure is just broken down. You go into these stores, the wall is mildew, brown wet spot, breaches in the wall, and you know, it smell old and funny, and so you might just finish with all this. Like,
yeah,
I just had to put it out.
Read what you sow.
Yeah, man.
Countries With a homogeneous population are already disadvantaged by disunity, but to bring in massive numbers of peoples who have every reason to hate you is insanity. Once here, the hatred is weaponized against.
What?
Come on, man. See,
What?
they always try to flip it.
See, Esau be trying to do that shit, man.
Yeah.
Fucking words, man.
Yeah.
Bringing in people who hate you, bro.
Words are weapons, man.
Why are they coming here? They're coming here to better their lives. Why? See,
And who better to know? Because we work beside them.
let me get this real quick, man. It's an oldie but goodie, but I must need to make this point.
Esau he gonna fight for his kingdom tooth and nail, man, regardless of what level he on.
All right, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. How is it that other people come into this land to better their lives? It's automatically an attack on you. Read that last part again, bro.
It says, once here the hatred. Let's see. All right. Countries without a homogeneous population are already disadvantaged by disunity. Not to bring in massive numbers of peoples who have already reasons to hate you is insanity.
Why do people hate you? Why does Esau feel like people hate him? One, I'll say this, because people do hate him. Because the proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
Yep.
The people around the world are realizing Esau's the problem, but I'm gonna still come to this land to do what I gotta do to better the stead for myself and my family.
Right.
But Esau in the spirit's like it.
No, you got it. So,
But Esau in the spirit knows that people hate him. But the thing about it is, he's connecting the come up of anybody else other than him as a direct assault against him and them as a nation.
right.
Because the Most High is putting the spirit on these crackers to realize that the Most High is putting pressure on these crackers, man.
Yeah.
And these other countries too, man. Like, you got that cell phone company. I think it's Huawei, where the daughter got
Like Huawei.
whose daughter got arrested. And basically, that's Esau, like the apostles mentioned last night. That's basically Esau hating because these technologies of these other countries are far advanced than Esau, man.
Bro, Slacky.
Yeah, go ahead.
They talking about the Chinese, like Huawei and them, they already got 5G technology. They can mass produce it for cheap. 5G ain't even rolled out in America, and China's already talking about developing 6G.
Yeah.
But Esau's the man with the master fucking plan, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you did read that one sentence you said, but to bring in massive numbers of peoples who have every reason to hate you is insane. And everybody do has a reason to hate you Edomites, because you stole everything.
Right.
You murdered, you still lie and manipulate the people with poison food, poison words. Just like this in his article.
And if I may say, can you read that last part one more time, Bubble Shot?
Come. But to bring in massive numbers of peoples who have every reason to hate you is insanity.
So think about this. Not only are these Edomites getting the spirit placed on them to block off their borders from allowing other people to come here, think about the people who don't look like them who are already here.
Right.
That's how we know you crackers gonna try to come against us and our people, man.
Yeah.
We know it.
Yeah.
It's showing.
And you stole us.
Right.
We still in captivity. We still kidnapped.
POWs, man, prisoners of war.
Right.
That's why Jake voted for Obama, because he thought it was going to be a change. But it was just a slap in our face. The damn slave
Commemoration.
Yeah, the slave commemoration, remembering the work that we put in to build this damn country. That's just a slap in the mockery in the face. You know how Esau just chilling in his mansion, just looking at that slave nigga over here. Throw a pie in his face. And just laughing, just eating and chilling with his family. That's what Esau just did.
Right.
But our King coming back though.
Mhm.
Our Lord and Savior, our King, and our continuing city is coming back
That's right.
through the Spirit.
It says, once here, the hatred is weaponized against white people by identity politics. That goes into Esau being a victim. That's we already know your MO, Esau. Here it is. You do all this chaos and destruction, and you want to play the victim role.
Right.
So,
Cain, that's Cain.
Yeah.
If they see me, Lord, they should kill me.
Mhm.
Well, that mark has been manifested, Cain, through the Spirit. Esau, so-called white man, you were Cain, you the serpent, and the Lord is putting that judgment on you. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You had your long run.
Yeah.
You fugitive, you vagabond.
Yeah.
Now everybody's going against you. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, continuing on, it says, if a country decided to self-destruct, it would do precisely what the United States and Europe have done. This is a serious problem. Not Iran, North Korea, Venezuela, Syria, Russia, China. It is likely the case that identity politics is now so entrenched in American institutions, such as the New York school system, that disunity is now a permanent feature of the United States. I mean, and that's what you so-called base your country on, people uniting, man. And we know that you're really gonna have to pull a false flag terrorist attack for really to get these people going, man, because it is a serious amount of disunity here, man. Your city's fucked up, it's rat infested. You got bad politics, people being treated bad. So it's gonna have to take some type of false flag event for people to get patriotic again, just like you devils did in 9/11.
Mhm.
So the last paragraph reads, the largely unacknowledged problem that the United States faces would overwhelm even a unified country. For a country as disunited as America, it is difficult to see any favorable odds. So that's the end of that.
It is difficult to see any favorable odds. Yeah, because your chances of success are exactly zero.
Yeah, this article should have been entitled "White Supremacy is on its way out."
Yeah, because that's who ruling in the Western Hemisphere anyway.
Mhm.
You don't see Jake, regular people like us, at the UN summit meetings. The Bilderberg meeting is going to be happening over in Switzerland. So what you think is going to happen at that meeting over there in Switzerland where the mark of the beast is, where cash is cashless over there?
Mhm.
They're going to implement their RFID chip. Well, we seen the system over here is working good in Switzerland. So yeah, we definitely going to promote this over here in America. Crash the system. IMF is gonna be at that meeting. Then they're gonna be over here in the Bohemian Grove
yeah.
in Northern California. And you Jason LA, you take a trip up there, I wouldn't take a trip up there at the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some faggy stuff going on like
Yeah, man. Yeah. I would go there. So like, I was just telling like, just ride fast. But they do got the owl and everything up there. They having those meetings and sacrifices at night too, man. Yeah. So Jake put curses on that place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got scripture. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. All you nations that's warring against America, y'all gonna get gunned down too. It says, gird yourselves up with cloths of sack and hair. Beware your children and be sorry. That's what's in this article. Esau is bewailing right now, and he's talking about his children, meaning the people of his nation, future, and there ain't no future for America. The windows are closed on America.
Right.
It says, for your destruction is at hand. America, your destruction is at hand. The so-called greatest country in the world is destroyed. It's being destroyed right now as we speak through so-called peacetime, and it's going to be destroyed when the Lord just allow all hell to be broken loose in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got something real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 10. I'm starting verse 22. Isaiah 10 and 22. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. For the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua of hosts, shall make a consumption even determined in the midst of all the land. All right. So this consumption or in judgment, it's gonna happen throughout the four corners, man. All right. Including there's gonna be a major judgment that goes down in the land of America, man. Okay, in which it's gonna be once again salvation and also destruction. All right. And the destruction is going to end off in America being destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, man. All right. Verse 24. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts, of my people that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrian. He shall smite thee with the rod and shall lift up his staff against thee after the manner of Egypt. For yet a very little while, and indignation shall cease, and mine anger in their destruction. All right. So we really have nothing to fear, man. All right. We have to, embrace, all right, the path that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has set out in front of us. All right. We have to do our best to please our Heavenly Father and continue to grow in righteousness. All right. And, be in this world, but not of this world. All right. And just understand that this judgment isn't created and waited, Lord willing, for us. All right. The judgment of destruction and death isn't created and waited for us, Lord willing. The judgment for us is us being rewarded for diligently seeking Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and to please Him. All right. And to flee from the wicked ways of the devil, man.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in that day, it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. So the Lord's going to give us rest when He comes back. And through these scriptures, He's giving us rest, but ultimately we're going to receive that rest in the physical too. We're going to receive that rest from working these 9-to-5 jobs, dead-end jobs. Jake going to receive rest over there in Hades. Jake going to receive rest over there in Brazil and other parts of the country where Jake is catching hell. Y'all ever seen that movie District 9? Well, y'all gotta check out that movie. It's about Jake though. But Jake over there in them other fields, over there in the other parts of the world, Central America, South America, Hades, and over here in America, living in trash fields. Eating out of the trash fields and stuff like that, working in the trash fields, Sierra Leone diamond mines, gold mines. So the Lord's going to give us that rest. And it says, verse 4, that thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and that's what we're doing right now, and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. So the oppressor, which is Esau, which is the white supremacy, which the article says Western supremacy, is going to be halt. It's going to be put at an end. It's going to stop. It's going to not cease to exist anymore. Because right now it's existing. And what are we looking like when it exists? We look like hell when Esau, oppressor, is ruling over us. So we taking up this proverb now, but it's going to be a known proverb, just like it's a regular proverb to call a Jake, oppressor of power, a nigger, or a spick, or tongue, or dung eating Haitian, so on and so forth. So the Lord is bringing us back that peace, like the brother said. You got it up.
All right, this is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And it's evident when the wicked is ruling the so-called white man, you got all these social problems, all this sedition, but the kingdom of heaven is being established, and it's not going to be any rat problems, all right, any homelessness for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the kingdom of heaven. Even after you heathens outside of Esau get doing your slavery, man, it's going to be a good thing for you as well, man. So you might as well just get along with the program, all right, because that's what's going to happen, all right? Righteousness is going to be established on the face of the earth, and Esau's can't get right. That's something that Esau can't do. He can't establish any type of righteousness. No matter what he does, he can't establish any type of righteousness on the face of the earth.
Okay.
That's all you had on that?
Come.
All right, you brothers got any other switches?
Wow.
So with that, we're gonna give all praise and honor and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Hakodash,
Kwam the elect, Shalom.
Shalom.